All right. Yeah, so that's my talk today. And it's always an honor to share this sacred space and to have you come together and make this a priority in your life. It's a great honor for me to be part of this with you. When I was asking about what my message should be today, I heard the words, speak about the joy of living in peace, and continue the message of may peace prevail on earth. So you know that I like to have interactions with my with our congregation. So today, what we will be affirming. Yes, come on. Okay, I live in the joy of peace. You think it's a battery?
It worked earlier, so it has to be a battery.
I love this support that we get. And by the way, you have, thank you. You get these two, and hopefully in here. I made up little prayer bookmarks. So your affirmation of I live in the joy of peace is right here for you to remember. And there's some information in here as we go along as well for you to take back with you, because I know it always helps me if I see it written down. So today so let's say this together. I live in the joy of peace. Take a deep breath. Let's say that again together and feel that joy in your heart. I live in the joy of peace. We'll be exploring what it means to be in the frequency of the joy of peace, which is always actually present in the heart of love, which is our true home. I'll also give some insights into a popular barrier to our peace and how to transform it, or at least what has been working for me. So let's say this again together. I live in the joy of peace. I think that we realize that true peace is not found just in the absence of noise and chaos, but in the calm that resides deep in our divine nature, and which we can tap into it any time in our lives. There it is. It's here. So as the writer Robert Fulghum, who's also a Unitarian minister, said, peace is not something you wish for. It's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. So when we experience peace within ourselves, we unlock a joy that is independent of external circumstances. This inner tranquility allows us to move through life with grace, with resilience, and with love. Peace is not passive any more than love is, but it's a way to live our lives. My next question when I was contemplating this talk was to my inner self, and I said, so how do I get this message across that is both joyous and impactful? And I was doing a walking meditation. Something's, am I connecting there? So what I heard was, talk about joy as playing hide and seek with God. See, that brings a smile. It's an earthly game that we play with our one divine nature in order to experience more of who we are and our relationship to God and all of creation. We play hide and then seek. Joy is finding God everywhere. Joy is the awe and the beauty of God's creations. It's finding freedom of being who my Creator made me to be. It's the awe of being alive, to see and experience beauty, such as snow on the mountain peaks. And this was taken by my husband up on one of his hikes. Yeah, it's Mount Olympus and the Blue Glacier. We have that here. All we have to do is look up, look up. And here are some more examples of living in joy in my life. This past month, we had the children and a big reunion of my husband's family, and I saw so many magical times of joy. It's the magic of bubbles. Oh my goodness, my husband took out bubble machine, and he just made these wonderful bubbles, and seeing the kids chase after them, and joy sometimes feels as elusive as bubbles to us when we pop them, but we know that there are more. Joy is running down a hill for the first time at full speed, letting go of control. These grandnieces and nephews come from Florida, which is pretty flat, and there's a hill in the back of our place, and they got to run just as fast as they could, and this was a new thrill for them. Even though they were like 10 years old and 12 years old, they never really ran down a long hill. So joy, and they were just so happy to see that and to experience that. Joy is holding a newborn baby and inhaling God sparkles that she brings. There was also a 7-month-old baby in this group, and it was just so joyful to kiss the top of her head. So imagine that you are also this little child and you can kiss the top of your head. Joy is trying out a new recipe and having it turn out. A win, yes, something I got to do cooking for 23 people. Joy is praying with my whole heart and voice and knowing that it's already answered. Joy is reading a good book by the fireplace. Joy is being fully in love with whatever and whoever is in front of me. Joy is learning a new skill that I wasn't sure I could do, overcoming my fears and accomplishing it. And joy is curiosity and yearning to learn more, forever expanding, as it was in our daily word today. Joy is realizing that I am playing hide and seek with my divine nature and everybody else's divine nature in everything in life. It's also embracing this present moment as the only time I have in which to truly touch the divine. This is the kind of joy that peace brings to my life. So what about you? I have an example of what kind of joy do you experience when you experience peace and joy together? I'll take an answer here. Melinda, what's joyful for you? Because I want this to be really meaningful to you, that even in the midst of everything else that's going on, you can experience joy. Please.
Hi. A couple days ago, I walked into Safeway, and as I was going through Safeway doing my shopping, there were two children in carts, two separate children in two separate carts around the store. And as I walked up to these children, the look on their faces was pure joy just to see the smile on my face. And I would say hi to them and they would follow me around the store. It just brought me so much joy just to see these little children in their moment of peace and joy too. One of them actually started talking to me as I was walking by, and I said, "What a cutie!" And the father's like, "Thank you." So there's all that joy and peace right there.
Yes, we find it in our children and the child within. Anyone else?
I do. One of the greatest joys that I've experienced in a long time was when I turned 62. in a while, I decided that I was going to take 62 $1 bills and go downtown, stand on the street corner, and give 2 away to each person, one for themselves and one to give away to someone else. And I had the most fun. I can't tell you. And people were always so surprised at what I was doing. But then as they walked away, they spread it to other people. And those people would come to find out why I was standing on the street corner giving away this money, because it gave me such joy to see people's expressions on their faces, and the fact that they would walk away and tell someone else, to come and join in the joy of it all. It was wonderful.
What a great experience of abundance. Yes. I'll take one more comment. Okay, Lonnie, great.
I find moments of joy when I roll over in bed at night and it's raining really hard, and there's my Chihuahua sitting right there, and we just snuggle up under the covers.
Okay, so let's do our affirmation. You can get that in there. All right, let's say it together. I live in the joy of peace. As you saw, ordinary, wonderful moments bring us peace and joy. But why do I say that we hide and seek with God? It's because I often forget that it's all the one presence. And I get lost in my own judgments of what things and people and circumstances should be, according to my standards. And I forget that I'm not totally in charge. I'm co-creating, and I have a divine partner who has a much bigger plan for me than I could ever have. I sometimes forget that the universe is benevolent and in my corner, but I have to know and be clear where my corner is and what I'm choosing to experience. I need not hide from God, but seek within and consciously choose to find God in every act that is of peace, of love, and of joy. And so I'd like to quote from Myrtle Fillmore, and I love her little book, How to Let God Help You. If you haven't read that one, it's full of wonderful wisdom. And she says, no one will deny that God is omnipresent or that God is all. Yet we talk about a great many presences, a great many powers, and other things that do not belong to God, when we find that there is only one presence, the real presence of the infinite goodness, we find no place for the opposite quality. Nations will forget to fight if they would know that all people express as the one life. That's the part of peace that I hope that you will take in your heart. The joy of peace. It is our birthright to live in this joy of peace. At our very core, it is our essence and what we truly yearn to experience. It seems self-evident to me that as we live in true peace, the joy always follows. When we trust that we are divine and that God's love is as close as our breath. Take a breath. That we truly live in joyful peace, which is the fruit of the Spirit. The qualities of divine oneness. The source of God's energy is like the perfect infinity symbol that flows into ongoing, ever-expanding loops and spirals that represent all aspects of the divine. Within peace resides compassion, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, truth, beauty, and love. And when I'm in the midst of experiencing any of these qualities, I am living in freedom. And that freedom brings me joy and peace. So let's enjoy peace. Let's live in the love joy, because peace is present within us, no matter what the outside world is showing me. So let's say that again together. I live in the joy of peace. So now I'd like to take a slightly different turn and look at what are the hidden barriers to peace that keep me from the joy of peace, besides the hide and seek game that I had set up before we came here. And this particular barrier pops up as a challenge in my life, and I've also seen it in this greater society as a norm and as a habit. It's so prevalent in our culture that we don't even notice it, but it undermines our sense of worthiness, increases our level of strife, encourages feelings and actions of separation. In fact, this habit robs us of our sense of oneness with each other, and thus of our joy and peace. So can you guess, what is this barrier to peace? What do you feel it is? Anyone? Fear. What did you say? Fear. Fear. Judgment. And they go together. It's expressed in this statement I came across: peace begins where judgment ends. Judgment, and in judgment I include, we've gotten a little too far. We'll stay there for a little bit. Judgment includes jealousy, criticism, and competition. And society programs us for these peace busters. It sets us up to fear to be our authentic self, to experience success for fear of being judged and envied, and sometimes even becoming a target for destructive language or actions by those who see themselves lacking in what the other person has. Harsh judgments inflict pain on everyone. It could be something material, or a success, or a career, or relationships, or any number of things or circumstances that people can think of. It is also how we hold each other back from joy and peace and love. However, we can also turn a bit of that feeling of envy into self-discovery and empowerment. A bit of envy can become a blessing when it helps us to discover an inner desire and not be destructive to another person or ourselves. Learning to tell the difference and making a choice for peace is the challenge of this game of hide and seek with our own divinity that we are engaged in. So for me to deal with judgment, here is a process that I've come across as I've lived in my life and studied with Joshua and other great teachers, the process of becoming aware and making heartfelt choices. So if you have your little prayer bookmark, you can follow along with me on the page that has the I live in the joy of peace. So releasing limiting habits, especially judgment. So the first thing you got to do is, when you notice yourself having that bit of envious feeling, kind of stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, what about this person or this situation that they are showing me is triggering me? Just a little bit of self-reflection. So examine, take that moment to really see what is happening for you. Usually it's a judgment that I have about my shortcomings or insecurities, and other times it's something that I want in my life as well. Like when I saw a dear friend who had a book published, and I thought, maybe I could do that too. I've got things to say. I've got poetry I want to share. Maybe I could do that too. So that little bit of examining made me look into what it is that I wanted to do. And then flip that envy and turn it into appreciation. So once I could appreciate what she had done, then I can also say, I can flip this judgment into appreciation. So try that in your life. Look at what is it in there that you really is the nugget. What's the little golden piece, the shining star that you want to also, and know that they're reflecting you. So Jedwa has always told us, flip it. If you have a negative thought, if you have an envious thought, if you have a judgment, flip it. See what the good is in it. What is it trying to teach you? And I acknowledged what they're showing me. And if they could do it, so could I. I genuinely share my admiration with them if that's appropriate. I mean, sometimes it's an author in a book and they're no longer around, but if I can possibly get to the person who is inspiring me, I try to share it with them and thank them. My advice is to encourage them to shine their light. Be their champion, and you will share their successes. You will not want to put anyone else down when it feels so good to support another person. My friend just published a book of poetry as well, and it was so wonderful to share in the process with her, and it just feels like my success too. We can multiply our success and our peace. And you wouldn't want to then be happy when somebody encounters misfortune, because that's false joy. And it will quickly evaporate into feelings of guilt. And now there's a bonus step I didn't put into here, but if they're showing me something I really want, I will ask their advice. How did you do this? What can I learn from this? And I have had the most wonderful mentors in my life come out of just that inquisitive curiosity of, how did you do this? Would you be willing to show me? And you know, many successful people are very generous and they want to share it with you. They're flattered that you want to know. So take that extra step if that person is available, that situation is available. Ask them, thank them, and make their success your success. Flip it. So that's the formula here. Stop, breathe, examine, give appreciation, be a cheerleader for the success of others. Learn to make it your own. So let's think about this. What if by practicing releasing of judgment, we could eliminate this fear of being judged that most of us carry around as a barrier to our true peace? If you felt totally safe that no one would criticize, belittle, humiliate, or punish you for who you are, what you said, what you did, or how you experienced the world, wouldn't that allow you to release fear and feel joy and peace? What if we refrained from making all of those criticisms about ourselves? What if we stopped comparing ourselves and competing with each other for short-lived rewards and recognitions? Wouldn't that set the stage for us to live in peace with ourselves and with everyone else? And what if we accepted ourselves and each other as the embodiment of spirit, of creator, all equally deserving of love and living in contented peace with each other? Think about that. I feel that true peace begins with acceptance, with compassion, with loving kindness, and then joyous peace. No more hiding from God, and instead shining with the full brightness of the light that we are. So let's say that together. I live in the joy of peace. And now, like, that's right. Haha, wonderful. Joshua has told us this message. You are the child of the Heavenly Father, created in perfection. Nothing you have ever done or ever thought will change who you are. Nothing others have ever done or thought or said to you or about you will change who you are. You are the light, unlimited, unbounded, forever expressing. Would you judge the light? Light does not judge itself. Light is. Light pours forth, and in pouring forth, scatters the darkness before it. So if others would speak unto you a different image, ask them why they would hold you in limitation or judge you when your Heavenly Father does not judge you, but only loves. For when you, in your courage, allow the light which you are to shine forth in such radiance and such joy, you offer others the opportunity to see the light that they are. They will catch a glimmer of possibility. And as you have experienced, joy is contagious. A smile spreads from one to another, and your joy is made manifest, unquote. And I have part of this quote on your prayer bookmark anytime you want. So let yourself be reminded of this. So let's turn our attention to living a life of joy, truly knowing that we are unlimited love, and from that love comes the peace that passes understanding, because we will choose not to be caught up in envy or hurtful competition or judgment, as we only see reflections of ourselves in everyone. Think about that. So, getting to peace in every day. Release limiting habits, especially envy. Choose and engage in joyful activities. Find the Christ light in everyone. And love, apply it liberally to every situation. Practice smiling from your heart, and that's also on your bookmark. So let us say it again together. I live in the joy of peace. Peace and joy are a choice. Let's choose wisely. May peace prevail on earth and in our hearts. So be it. Now we'll take a few minutes to do a meditation. Dear brothers and sisters, let us breathe together as we meditate together. Allow yourself to smile and bring that smile into your eyes. As much as possible, see the world through love-colored glasses, knowing that you are always living in the heart of love. And it's impossible for you to step outside of that love. You may want to hide and seek with God, but you are always in the heart of love. Keep that smile within your eyes and take it down into your heart. There's a smile of gratitude, of peace, of joy. Take a deep breath and know that joy is a choice. Peace is a choice. Even when it doesn't look like it on the outside, there are always micro choices done within your heart that make a difference for joy, peace, compassion, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, truth, beauty, and love, always walking in peace. It's not always easy to see the Christ light in others, but at those times, take a deep breath, which Joshua tells us will restore unto you your center, your peace. He says, take a deep breath, call upon me and listen. Abide in peace. There is no place you can be that I am not. If you descend into the depths of hell, the depths of worry and doubt, there I am with you. If you ascend into heavens and you feel the joy of living, there I am with you in that joy. And I will tell you, joy, peace, and trust are good places to abide. Unquote. So, dear friends, let's choose joy and peace as our constant companions. Whenever that habit or pattern comes up as uninvited intruder into your mind, remind yourself that you are the beloved of Mother, Father, God, creative energy, and so is every child of God. And as you radiate loving kindness and acceptance, you will share the joy of peace with all around you. And you will be healing yourself and the world, no longer playing hide and seek with God, but knowing your oneness with all that is. May peace prevail in the world and in your heart. So be it. Fall in love every day of your life. Thank you.